investigation. And there's a long section here that talks about all the work that Mueller's team did on that. And then there is this. The special counsel did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in these efforts, despite multiple offers from Russian-affiliated individuals to assist in the Trump campaign. So I guess what you could say is that the Attorney General is saying Mueller has concluded there was, as the President so often says, no collusion. But I'll leave that to others. The fact is, he says the special counsel did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in those meddling efforts, Kate. So here's the key sentence, I think. This is Attorney General William Barr saying that he and Rod Rosenstein, who's the Deputy Attorney General who oversaw the special counsel investigation from its inception, Rosenstein's the guy who brought Mueller in, he says, the deputy and I have concluded that the evidence developed by the special counsel's investigation is not sufficient to establish that the president committed an obstruction of justice offense. And then he says, and we made that decision setting aside, without regard to this whole separation of powers question about whether you can even indict a sitting president. He's saying the evidence isn't there. And he goes on in that second paragraph to say, one of the hardest things about making any obstruction case is the intent of the person who took these actions. And they're saying in cataloging the president's action, the report identifies no actions that, in our judgment, constitute obstructive conduct, had a nexus, a connection to a pending or contemplated proceeding, and were done, I guess you could say, or were done with corrupt intent, all of which are basically the elements of proving an obstruction crime. So as I say, it's 4 pages. It's basically a summary. The fact that the special counsel employed 19 lawyers, assisted by a team of 40 FBI agents. Special counsel issued more than 2,800 subpoenas, we learn here, executed nearly 500 search warrants, got more than 230 orders for communication records, issued almost 50 orders authorizing the use of pen registers. Those are those things that record the number that a phone dialed without recording the conversation, and made 13 requests to foreign governments for evidence and interviewed about 500 witnesses. But the rest of it is a summary, I think, of things that were already known, including the Russians who were indicted for hacking and for setting up those phony social media accounts.
Answered. And so I think that the Attorney General, and what I've heard from sources today, is that he wants to answer as many of these questions as he can in due time, but he answered the 2 big questions today, which were obstruction and collusion, of course defining that as coordination or conspiracy. But more to come. It could. And Katie, well, there's another piece of that that's jumping out. I'm digesting this in real time here. But he's saying that He wants to identify information that could impact other ongoing matters, including those that the special counsel has referred to other offices. So it could be that some of that information is not just protected by executive privilege or by grand jury testimony privileges like you laid out, but because they could impact other investigations. We know that this special counsel spun off a lot of these investigations. While it might be Michael Cohen in the Southern District of New York, Roger Stone, who is still facing trial here in D.C. in November, and the Rick Gates sentencing, there are a number of things that will spin out that really connect back to this president, but William Barr might be constrained in what he can say if they implicate those matters.